Successful dribbles, 7 out of 8. So that's an 88% rate into successful dribbles that were shown. And also, all those successful rates were all living into the opposition's box, which were 11 times that this player had 11 time touches in the opposition box, 10 touches overall, had 4 passes into the final third of the game, and also dispossessed once. He also recovered the ball 5 times. Duels that he actually went through were 11 out of 14 ground duels that he won. That's a 79% rate into overcome. Then, of course, he had a shot that he scored outside of the goal, one of the best that we're going to talk about. Then created 3 chances which could have been converted. Also created a penalty which was not taken advantage of. And in 74 minutes he played, he literally terrorized an entire defense for the entire 74 minutes, to a point that the manager was literally hoping that it doesn't happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jeremy Doku against Liverpool. This was a terrorism which was happening in life in our lifetime. We literally watched this happen, and we had no questions for it. I'm going to talk about everything that I saw, the tactical analysis of all the players, like I told you, and every game which was happening. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Where are you watching us from, and what were your thoughts over the game between Liverpool and Manchester City? Look at how the Manchester City squad looks like. Really, the only player who had a terrible game in this game was Ryan Cherky. The whole entire team, I'm talking from the goalkeeper, I'm talking from the defense, I'm talking from the midfielders who were in the double pivot, Phil Foden, Haaland, Jeremy Doku, all of them were in high numbers. They were in high numbers. And we look at Liverpool, there is not even any single player who had a good game except of Conor Bradley. And the Conor Bradley with the lowest was actually the guy who was disposed of so many times. He was literally manhandled. So many times he was passed by Jeremy Doku. Yet he's the only player who had a better game than the rest of the team. Shut this thing off, because I can't continue talking about this nonsense. So what do we mean when we talk about men versus boys? This is exactly a reality of what men versus boys actually symbolizes. A team that was destroyed to a point you see the player who was practically humiliated had the best game in the season. Like the video, subscribe to the Connect. Let's get into this analysis. So, hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect. I'm your host. We're going to talk about what exactly happened between Liverpool and Manchester City. How Liverpool were destroyed by City. How they were destroyed. How the men versus boys analogy comes from, and what actually happened in the game, and what Arne Slot needs to fix up coming into this weekend where the Premier League is back from international break. There's a lot of things to talk about. Of course, we saw the humiliation that Liverpool suffered in the hands of Jeremy Doku as well as Man City. There was a lot of things that happened in these games. Maybe we might not even cover everything, but we're going to look at some of the things that we need to highlight on, and of course talk about some key situations that happened. So one of the things that were really clear about this game, and I think so many people are not really talking about it, but I think this is the most important thing, we got to see the problem which Liverpool has and how it was exposed in its entirety. Of course, we know how Arne Slot likes to play. He always wants to have some players go forward, then he always keep up at least a strong lineup at the back which can contain if they're hit on counterattacks. Something that we saw, it was getting exposed in the first time, then there were some changes that happened. And the funny part about this is, during the midweek of that week, we had just come to one of the perfect performance of destroying Real Madrid. We played like I've never seen Liverpool play the way they did it. They literally destroyed Real Madrid. They ran the game. They showed amazing technicality, the way they were playing, how they were controlling the game, and how they were taking advantages of the situation. And I just thought maybe we're able to continue with that. And I think that was exactly what was in Arne Slot's mindset. Hence why he was able to put out exactly the same lineup that played against Real time at Real Madrid, having, of course, Mamadashvili, well, Alisson will be back now after the international break, but Conor Bradley, Ibrahima Konate, Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson. A perfect back three, which worked in the last game, so we were hoping that it works. McAllister and Gravenberg, which worked, so it was good that it continued. Then we had Dominic Soboslai and that midfield. So that midfield triangle was literally the best of what we saw of last season, and it was continuing. Then up top with Mo Salah and Wirtz. Wirtz was playing up in that wing position, being allowed to take advantage of the spaces, causing chaos, and Ekatike up top. But something was different from this game, and it was not because of what Liverpool were doing. It was because of what Manchester City were doing. And that's where the problem was. Let me tell you the first thing that Pep Guardiola did, which gave him the odds against Liverpool before going anywhere far, before we even talk about the individual players and what they did. What Pep Guardiola did to get the odds against Liverpool was only two things. Those two things were the best things he did that overcome the whole entire Liverpool structure and how they were going to be playing the game. First of all, Haaland, Virgil van Dijk, the entire game. So every single time, whenever Liverpool were with the ball at the backwards, Pep Guardiola made sure that Haaland, rather than to focus on Konate, always keep marking Virgil van Dijk. If he was not marking and the ball was in Konate's legs, he'll always make sure that either he's close to Van Dijk or he's offering that cover shadow to make it difficult for Konate to pick up Virgil van Dijk. What was the purpose of doing that? First of all, one thing that has made Liverpool so good was always having some good ball playing defenders or players at the back. So Virgil van Dijk was one of them. Trent Alexander-Arnold was the other one. Trent is no longer the good team. He's now at Real Madrid. So the only player who's left is Virgil van Dijk. The other one is Andy Robertson. But imagine if a player cannot even pass to Van Dijk, how is he going to be able to pass all the way to Andy Robertson? So because of the problem, the thing with the Liverpool's build-up, they always want to make some good exchanges between Konate and Van Dijk before they actually go in attack. Conor Bradley might love him. It's one of the best things that he does in his one-on-one duels and the things that he does. It's difficult for him to actually be able to hold on the ball and ping-pong those amazing passes up top. So in doing so, they took out the main threat of Liverpool. Those long balls to Salah, those long balls to Wirtz, it was literally taken out of the game. Problem one. Problem two, what did Pep Guardiola did, which was very, very intelligent, was Nico O'Reilly. He told O'Reilly, the thing is this, if Jeremy Doku deals with the Conor Bradley alone, it is going to be the battle of the all battles. And at some point, Bradley will get the best out of him. So what I want you to do, you are going to be the extra player to make his mind at least double-minded when he's dealing with Doku. And in doing so, just giving him that shadow favor allows Jeremy Doku to have the best game ever. So every single time, whenever City were on the attack, Jeremy Doku at some point would cover that wing, go with the wing. But every single time when he was doing that, you would either see O'Reilly at the back of him or on the side of him coming from inside. And vice versa on the other side. When O'Reilly is covering that wing position, you would see Jeremy Doku coming from inside. And who was dealing with that pressure? It was Conor Bradley every single time. So in him being double-minded, who am I marking, O'Reilly or Doku? Allowed Doku to have the best time of his life against him. And he did fight so many times, Bradley. That's why he is Liverpool's best player. He showed amazing techniques in trying to fight this 2 versus 1, while one is literally one of the best wing demons we have in the Premier League. He did try to fight in it, but it was never going to be that easy. It was never going to be that easy because O'Reilly was also a threat. Look at so many times. Go rewatch the game if you have the time, because I did really went and suffocated myself in watching the game again. And you could see that was it. Making sure Haaland does not allow Virgil van Dijk to have the freedom and always put Conor Bradley in double-mindedness when dealing with that wing of Man City. That was it. The game was over. That was it. That was it, because Pep Guardiola knew that when he does that, he already has 3 players alongside to this thing. So What were these weaknesses that I'm saying that were exposed to Liverpool? First of all, the exposure that Konate is not really good with the ball in his feet was made so clear in this game more than any other game. It was very clear. The other one was Mo Salah. Mo Salah was really exposed of his defensive problems that he's now having. He's no longer the player who tracks back. If you're not tracking back, if you're not doing so, at least provide what we call a cover shadow. Try to make it difficult for the Man City players to pick up Doku by covering the spaces. But no, he never did that. Every single time he was at least at the back of the defender, or O'Reilly would be somewhere else, and it was easy for this team of Man City to create chaos. Every single time they would pick up Haaland, it was easy for him to hold on the ball and pass it back to O'Reilly, or maybe even pass it to Doku, which was always a problem for Bradley. And that was the whole entire game. If you look at all the games, the goals which were scored, it might feel like Doku did not do enough. But if you look at where the positions, which those goals were scored, it had a part in those positions. It had a part from where with the positions which I'm talking about to have that advantage. And that's how we lost the game. Michael Oliver doesn't like Liverpool every single time. He always wants to punish us with some VAR decisions. It took away the Virgil van Dijk goal, which would have leveled the game, maybe allowed Liverpool to have an opportunity to come back in the game, to actually run the game, but that was taken away from us. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we were also exposed and destroyed and left with no questions or even any answer to deal with the pressure that was put upon us. And that was the reality of the game, and hence why we lost this game. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of Liverpool versus Man City? I could have gone in depth and looked at other things, but the truth of the matter, the thing that I've just exposed to you, which I've just explained to you, that was the only reason why Man City had a party time and an excited time to beat this Liverpool team. Hence why it's men versus boys, because an entire player literally ran the show. And on the other side, Vitz was really given a problem. Even though he was the best player in terms of attackers, he was given a problem by Matheus Nunes. And he fought alone, but he was alone because the other team or the other players were literally out of the game. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of Liverpool versus Man City? And what do you think of the first new podcast of the Choose the Analytics show? What are your thoughts and what do you learn from? Let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe to Connect. I'm out. Peace. Subscribe to the Connect.